If you want to completely transform your life in just 1 week, you need to start with these 5 powerful habits. Don't believe the myth that change takes months or even years. Sometimes it's about small intentional shifts that can create a ripple effect in every area of your life. In this video, I'll walk you through 5 transformative habits that have changed my life in ways I never thought possible. These aren't just surface-level tips. They're actionable, relatable, and designed for anyone, no matter your age or lifestyle. Stick with me until the end because every habit builds on the last, and trust me, you won't want to miss a single one. Number 1. The power of waking up early, a game changer for your day. There's something magical about mornings, isn't there? The calm before the chaos, the quiet moments when the world feels like it's yours alone. But let's be real, most of us don't get to enjoy this. For years I dreaded mornings. The snooze button was my best friend, and mornings were a frantic race to get out the door. My day often started with stress, and that stress followed me like a shadow. Then one week I decided to make a change. It wasn't easy. Waking up at 5 a.m. sounded like an impossible task. That first day, brutal. My alarm rang, and every fiber of my being wanted to stay in bed. But I pushed through. The second day wasn't much easier, but by the third day, something shifted. As I stepped out onto my balcony and watched the sunrise, a sense of peace washed over me. The soft hues of orange and pink in the sky, the cool morning air. It felt like I was witnessing a side of life I'd been missing all along. It reminded me of simpler times, like summer mornings as a child when the day ahead felt full of endless possibilities. Remember those mornings? When the world felt fresh and you didn't yet know what the day would bring. That's what waking up early gave me, a chance to reconnect with that feeling. With those extra hours, I found myself doing things I always said I didn't have time for. Light stretching, sipping coffee without rushing, planning my day intentionally. It wasn't just about waking up early, it was about starting my day with purpose. Now, imagine this. You, sitting quietly with your thoughts, your coffee in hand, planning the day ahead while the world is still asleep. Sounds peaceful, right? And here's the kicker. Waking up early didn't just give me time, it gave me control. Control over how my day started, and in turn, how it unfolded. So, when was the last time you felt like you truly owned your morning? If you can't remember, maybe it's time to change that. Number 2. Daily exercise. Moving your body for physical and mental well-being. Let's talk about movement. It's something we're designed to do, yet so many of us struggle to make time for it. I used to be one of those people. My excuses were endless. Too tired, too busy, too everything. Sound familiar? Then one week I told myself, just 20 minutes a day. That's all. No grand plans, no gym memberships, just movement. The first day, exhausting. I laced up my sneakers for a jog around the block and barely made it halfway. My muscles ached, my breathing was off, and I started wondering if this was even worth it. But something kept me going. By the 4th day, I noticed a difference, not just in my body but in my mind. I woke up feeling lighter, more energized. It was as if those 20 minutes of movement were unlocking something within me. I wasn't just exercising my body, I was giving my mind a much-needed break from stress. Do you remember the last time you felt truly free? Maybe it was riding your bike as a kid, the wind rushing past your face, the world blurring into a kaleidoscope of colors. That's what exercise started to feel like for me, a return to that simple, unadulterated joy. One morning, I went for a jog on a crisp autumn day. The leaves crunched beneath my feet, the air was fresh, and for the first time in a long time, I felt connected to the world around me. Here's the surprising part. It wasn't about losing weight or building muscle. It was about feeling alive. It was about carving out time for myself in a world that constantly demands more. Whether it was yoga on my living room floor or a brisk walk through the park, those 20 minutes became my sanctuary. Now think about your own life. When was the last time you moved just for the joy of it? Not for a goal, not for a reason, just because you could. If it's been a while, maybe it's time to rediscover that joy. Number 3. Journaling. Unlocking self-discovery and emotional clarity. Let's talk about a habit that might seem unnecessary at first. Journaling. I used to think it was a waste of time. Who has the energy to sit and write about their day when there's so much else to do? But then I gave it a try. Just 1 week. The first night I sat with a blank notebook and stared at the page, unsure of where to start. Eventually I just wrote about my day, what happened, how I felt. It wasn't profound, but it was honest. By the third day, something clicked. Writing became more than just a recap. It became a conversation with myself. Do you remember the last time you truly listened to yourself? Life moves so fast, and sometimes our own thoughts and emotions get drowned out by the noise. But when I started journaling, I found clarity. I started noticing patterns, things that stressed me out, things that made me happy, things I could control and things I couldn't. One entry stands out to me. It was after a tough day at work. I wrote about what happened, how it made me feel, and what I could do differently next time. By the time I put my pen down, I felt lighter, like I had unpacked a heavy bag I'd been carrying around all day. Then there were the moments of gratitude. Every night I wrote down 3 things I was thankful for. Sometimes they were big things, like a promotion at work. Other times they were small, like the stranger who held the door open for me. But each time it reminded me of the good in my life. Remember when you were a kid and kept a diary? How freeing it felt to pour your heart onto those pages, knowing they'd hold your secrets without judgment. That's what journaling became for me, a safe space to be myself. So here's a question for you. When was the last time you gave yourself permission to pause and reflect, to take a step back and truly process everything going on in your life? If you can't remember, maybe it's time to start. Number 4. Mindful eating. Transforming your relationship with food. Food, it's more than fuel. It's comfort, culture, celebration, and sometimes even a form of therapy. But let's be honest, in our fast-paced lives, how often do we actually think about what we're eating? How often do we truly savor the flavors, textures, and smells of our meals? If you're like me, probably not often enough. There was a time in my life when eating was something I rushed through. Breakfast was a granola bar in one hand while I scrolled through my phone with the other. Lunch was eaten at my desk, and dinner, well, that was often in front of the TV. I didn't think much of it, until one day I realized I couldn't even remember what I'd eaten the day before, so I made a change. I decided to eat one meal each day mindfully. No distractions, no rushing. That first meal was an eye-opener. I sat at my kitchen table with a simple plate of food, free of distractions. I took my first bite and really tasted it. Sweet, tangy, with a hint of spice. It was like I was experiencing food for the first time. It took me back to childhood, to those special family dinners. Remember those? When the table was filled with your favorite dishes, and every bite was savored because it was made with love. That's what mindful eating reminded me of, the joy of food as an experience, not just a task. Over time, I noticed something incredible. By slowing down, I began to recognize when I was truly hungry and when I was eating out of boredom or stress. I found myself reaching for more wholesome, nourishing options because I wanted my body to feel good, not just full. Now, picture this. You sitting at a table, no phone, no TV, just you and your meal. Each bite is deliberate, each flavor savored. Imagine how different eating could feel if it became an act of gratitude instead of just routine. So, when was the last time you ate without distractions? If it's been a while, maybe it's time to reconnect with your food and yourself. Number 5. Limiting screen time. Reclaiming your time and mental space. Screens are everywhere. Our phones, laptops, TVs, even the smartwatches on our wrists. They're tools, yes, but they've also become extensions of ourselves. Think about it. How many hours a day do you spend staring at a screen? For me, the number used to be shockingly high. There was a point when I realized I was spending more time scrolling through social media than I was spending with my own thoughts. I'd wake up and reach for my phone before I even got out of bed. My evenings disappeared into endless streams of YouTube videos and Netflix episodes. And at night, instead of feeling relaxed, I felt drained. So, I decided to set limits. I started with a simple rule: no screens for 1 hour before bed. That first night, I didn't know what to do with myself. The silence was almost uncomfortable, but then I picked up a book I'd been meaning to read, and something amazing happened. I felt calmer. My mind wasn't racing from the constant stimulation of endless notifications. It reminded me of simpler times before smartphones took over. Do you remember what it was like to spend an entire afternoon outside, completely unplugged? Maybe riding your bike with friends or lying on the grass staring at the clouds. There was something freeing about it, wasn't there? Over time, limiting my screen time became a form of self-care. I started using that extra time to do things that truly nourished me, like journaling, calling a friend, or simply sitting with my thoughts. And the benefits: better sleep, less stress, and more time to focus on what really matters. Now, think about this. What could you do with an extra hour each day? Maybe you'd finally start that project you've been putting off, spend more time with loved ones, or simply give yourself a break from the digital noise. When was the last time you truly disconnected? If it's been a while, maybe it's time to reclaim your time and your mental space. Congratulations on making it to the end of this journey. Drop a 100 in the comments if you've watched this far, because that shows you're part of the top 1% who are committed to finishing what they start. The fact that you're here proves you're serious about making meaningful changes in your life. If you're ready to take the next step in transforming your everyday routines, make sure to subscribe to our channel. By doing so, you're joining a growing community of like-minded individuals, all striving for personal growth and success. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss out on powerful tips that can help you live a happier, more intentional life. Your future self will thank you.